Now we'll send it over to meteorologist Nicole Skalicki. She's got another update on our forecast.
Yes, today is an alert day going into this afternoon and this evening for another round of potentially severe thunderstorms passing across the area. Here's the risk outlook that we have right now. Mainly areas north of I-94 still picking up on that shower and thunderstorm activity, but the severe risk is looking fairly low up there. Areas south of I-94 sitting in about a marginal risk, which is a 1 out of 5, and then a higher risk off to our south, where we could see some more isolated thunderstorms passing across the area. The environment today is almost identical to what we saw yesterday, so it made my job easy this morning. I don't have to change the risk categories at all. We're looking at a very exact situation that we saw yesterday, a fairly low to somewhat moderate risk for tornadoes, but again, they're looking the same as yesterday, where they'll be very short-lived and fairly weak if they do end up touching the ground. Locally high winds within those storms as well, but really highest risk is going to be for that flooding potential, especially in those lower lying and urban areas. We've seen plenty of rainfall across the area this past week, so it's going to make flooding that much easier across the area. Let's check it out on Sky Tracker. We could see some light showers moving in as we go into the late morning hours, mainly for those showers to get closer to I-94 sometime around 10, 11 a.m. Otherwise, everybody else actually looking to stay mostly dry as we go throughout the morning hours. As we head towards that noon hour, that's when we can start to see some thunderstorms developing just south of I-94. These will start as more single clusters of thunderstorms, and that's where we're going to see the highest tornado risk. Again, if tornadoes do form, they are looking to stay fairly short-lived and on the lower severity risk, but they do have a good chance of forming within this environment, mainly with those initial thunderstorms staying near I-90 and a little bit south until we get into the evening hours, and that's when this main line starts to pass through. Getting to La Crosse and Eau Claire around 6, 7 p.m. Main wind risk is going to stay south of I-94. Could see still a couple of spin-ups with tornadoes within that line, but the tornado risk is really going to start to decrease as we see that line pass through. And the good news is it's really out of the area fairly early on, and we should be dry as we go into Friday night, or excuse me, into tonight and into Friday morning, and then Friday is looking pretty dry out there. Here's a look at our rain totals, though. It could be a very wet one again, very similar to what we saw yesterday. If you find yourself under a thunderstorm, you could get another 2 to 3 inches. Otherwise, everybody else at least looking to see around half an inch, if not a little bit more, with those showers that we continue to see passing through. Here's your Black River forecast. Again, still expecting the river to reach at least minor flooding. In Black River Falls, we're seeing that flooding happening tomorrow afternoon. Galesville still holding off as we go into tomorrow, or excuse me, into the start of next week. And the Kickapoo River, we're still seeing that minor flooding as well coming in as we go into tomorrow, or holding off until a little bit later this weekend if you're a little bit further downstream. Overnight lows tonight staying fairly mild in the upper 60s. Tomorrow's highs a little bit of a cool down, and again, it's going to be dry out there with the highs getting into the upper 70s. Here's a look at your 8-day forecast, then staying dry tomorrow. Night storms going on Saturday and continuing on into Sunday. Otherwise, next week looking very mild out there and mostly dry.